Joe Biden's 10% is world famous. Hunter Biden's escapades are stuff of legends. Ashley Biden's diary was puke-inducing. James Biden and Sarah Biden are like Bonnie and Clyde of modern times. And now the matriarch joins the game too. We will tell you all about it, but before that, if you're a fan of non-corporate funded free news and analysis, you've landed on the right YouTube channel. We publish 3 videos a day, first at 9:15 a.m. EST, second at 1:30 p.m. EST, and the third at 5:30 p.m. EST. So if that's of interest to you, ask your liberal friends if crime depends on the political affiliation of the criminals. Tell us what they say. Okay, let's begin. Anthony Bernal, a high-ranking official in the Biden White House and confidant of First Lady Jill Biden, faces allegations of verbal sexual abuse and bullying spanning over a decade. Accused of making derogatory remarks about colleagues' physical attributes and sexuality, his conduct has been reported by nearly a dozen current and former colleagues as violating professional boundaries. Bernal's actions, which include inappropriate comments on genital size and sexuality, occurred within the White House throughout Biden's campaign and during his vice presidency. The conduct of Anthony Bernal with the Biden White House starkly contradicts the administration's stated values of respect, integrity, and accountability. Emerging from anonymity due to fears of retaliation, sources highlight not isolated incidents but a systemic issue of overlooked verbal harassment and disregard for professional boundaries. These reports are particularly troubling given President Biden's so-called pledge of zero tolerance towards disrespect, displaying a gap between promised action and reality. Allegations indicate a workplace culture under the Bidens where bullying and harassment are distressingly woven into daily interactions, reflecting not just a failure of individual character, but a systemic inability to address toxic dynamics. Leadership extends beyond policies to create a respectful, valued environment for all, from top officials to new staff. The gap between Biden's values and reality, highlighted by allegations against Bernal, demands actionable steps to address inconsistencies. Insider insights reveal sexual harassment in the workplace, emphasizing it's about power and not just sexual advances, highlighting a culture that tacitly allows such behavior. Bernal's actions and the administration's inadequate response reveal a systemic issue, contrasting with the Biden administration's stated values. The protection Bernal enjoys due to his close ties with First Lady Jill Biden raises questions about the administration's sexual harassment policies and commitment to a dignified workplace. The situation underscores the impact of power dynamics and personal loyalties over fundamental principles of respect and dignity, risking the perpetuation of a harmful culture for vulnerable employees. The discrepancy between the Biden White House's public image and its internal dynamics, marked by allegations against Anthony Bernal, highlights a troubling contradiction. The administration, despite its anti-bullying stance, seems to condone behaviors it ostensibly opposes, suggesting a workplace rife with hypocrisy and fear, far from its professed ideals of dignity and respect. This situation calls for accountability and change, questioning how an administration vocal about respect and anti-bullying can harbor a culture that protects those undermining these values. The gap between the Biden's public messages and the actual experience of staff points to a disconnect between rhetoric and reality, with a culture where fear silences dissent, challenging ethical leadership. The acceptance or inaction towards Bernal's behavior suggests a compromise of moral authority, underscoring the need for independent investigations to restore trust and integrity. This narrative reveals a dysfunction rooted in a culture of intimidation and questionable loyalty, demanding a re-evaluation of the administration's commitment to its declared principles. Some defend Anthony Bernal's conduct as necessary for the job or in line with the First Lady's expectations, but this fails to excuse behavior that undermines colleagues' dignity and well-being. Arguing his intensity stems from dedication or high standards ignores the fact that many professionals excel without demeaning or sexualizing others. The discrepancy between the treatment of staff and how the Bidens would treat their own family underscores a significant gap between proclaimed values and actual practices, critiquing a workplace that compromises employee welfare for perceived efficiency or loyalty. This sort of Stockholm syndrome among Anthony Bernal's detractors points to a workplace where abnormal behavior is tolerated so much that it is normalized, indicating a serious issue within the work culture that demands immediate attention. This situation raises doubts about the administration's effectiveness in combating bullying and ensuring a respectful environment, highlighting a discrepancy between public statements and actual practices. Such dynamics not only question the commitment to principles, but also the operational effectiveness of the First Lady's team, as exemplified by staff drawing straws to avoid collaboration. We talked about Sarah Biden in the intro. Her story will make you cringe very, very bad. Watch this video to know all about her.